Scientifically speaking, the functions of the left brain and the right brain have been under study for over many decades now. The functions of the left brain are supposed to be analytical and rational. To add a few more qualities, the left brain is solely responsible for the objective type of thinking. Today's schooling curriculum favors the left brain activity. The right brain is supposed to be intuitive and holistic. The right brain looks at everything wholly and subjectively. The sense of aesthetics and creativity are the functions of the right brain. Welcome to episode 115 of the Teacher Rockstar Podcast, a place where tips and strategies critical to the new teacher are discussed. I'm your host, Steve Hiles, and today's episode we're going to be talking about scientific reasoning in brain games. But before we dive right in, we have the following messages from our sponsor. Would you like to supercharge your classroom management skills? Well, if you're a brand new teacher just fresh out of college or have less than 5 years of classroom experience, the Teacher Rockstar Academy course is for you. Gain the confidence, the skills you'll need to crush it on day one and beyond. So invest in yourself and enroll now at tra.teacherclassroomresources.com. I promise you that this will be a most transformational experience. Would you like unlimited access to over $1,000 worth of educational resources for less than a small pack of chewing gum a day? And you know what the best part is? You get a free 7-day trial. So go take a look, check it out. And after that, it's only $9.99 per month. So what do you have to lose? New products are added continuously. Simply go to membership.teacherclassroomresources.com. And I know you will love being part of this membership community. Okay, let's dive right in. Well, what is the use of having two hemispheres of brains? What happens if we use both of them at the same time? Yes, we can be the genius. The great minds of the world are known to use both hemispheres of their brains. Now, how do we achieve it? Consciously, we can do it by putting both the sides of the brain to work by subjective and objective methods. Yes, brain games are the best way to success. The concentration you develop when you are at a mind game is beyond measure. The overactive kids can be subdued down by allowing them to play a game or two which involves the mind activity. The physical activity alone is not sufficient for the growth of a kid. It may overactivate them. The balanced growth of a kid can be achieved by involving them in mind games and other mental activities. Are you of the opinion that studies are mind-oriented only? Yes, this is absolutely correct. Some schools adopt a system which demands cramming details from a textbook as a measure of success in the examination. What these institutions do not know is that the logical mind will forget the crammed portions after some time. The supposed to be the top-class mental ability is achieved by right brain activity only. This ability to look at everything as a whole is the function of the right brain. If that happens, the brain does not forget things easily. The activation of the right brain can be easily targeted by mind games. Now, there are plenty of books on brain games in the market and bookshops. Any particular game is not the point of consideration. The generic term puzzle is the topic of consideration here. The focus of any puzzle is to make the person think over the possible outcomes in a detailed way and to arrive at a logical conclusion from the possible answers. There can be only one correct answer for a mind puzzle. Therefore, the answer is either a yes or no. Now, to put it more specifically, the outcome is either white or black. You do not have any hazy or gray areas to muddle around with, okay? There is either light or darkness. If you toss a coin, the answer is either heads or tails. Do not consider the remote chance of a coin falling on its edge. That is a rarity. You can exclude that, so therefore the mind will look forward to something either positive or negative. Now, this kind of conditioning is good practice as far as the mind is concerned. Mind games, which are designed, are helping the mind to sharpen its capabilities. It may interest you to know that Thomas Alva Edison is the inventor and the discoverer of a number of scientific advancements. He has proved himself by his mind capabilities. The sharp mind is a real gift. If a child wants to play a mind game or solve a mind puzzle, encourage it. Tomorrow, that child may become another Thomas Edison, a renowned scientist of brain games. The science behind brain games, Thomas Edison is the inventor and discoverer of a number of exact processes in brain games. He has provided evidence himself by his mind prospects. Thomas discovered that the intelligent mind is an authentic, indubitable gift. The brain functions on two sides, either the right or the left side. Now, on each side of the brain, you have parent, child, rebellious, creative, and other sides. The brain allows you to analyze, rationalize, and so on and so forth. Your brain has so many abilities, which the left side solely is responsible for objectively thinking, creativity. Okay, you can handle tasks by using this side alone, yet when you use both sides of the brain, you have deeper advantages. The right brain allows you to use intuition to make good decisions and relate to the whole pie. The right brain involves all of your abilities, specifically your physical, social conditions, mental, etc. Your right brain subjectively evaluates all angles of problems. The senses allow you to study beauty and use your creativity to discover new ideas. Artistic minds often use both sides of the brain to creatively write, draw, or create something of interest. We all have two hemispheres within the brain, okay, which gives us the ability to use both sides simultaneously. Using both sides of the brain gives you many advantages. This is the point of brain games, since the various puzzles, games, riddles, trivia, etc. encourage the use of both sides of your brain. Now, how to use both sides of the brain with brain games? Well, to put both sides of your brain to work, you have to concentrate, first of all. You have to use your objective and subjective states to analyze each detail when solving problems. Brain games give you the chance to explore both sides. Now, since the puzzles will put your mind in motion to solve these problems. When you concentrate, it helps you to develop new skills. You can use mind games or puzzles to take your brain to new levels. Brain games work to subdue hyperactivity by permitting you to play games, which forces mind activities. Children and adults alike can benefit from brain games, which give you balance, especially if you exercise the body and mind often. You can help children reach balance in the developmental stage by involving your children in brain games such as riddles, trivia, and the like. Now, unfortunately, many schools encourage cramming. The schools will give children textbooks and expect them to succeed on exams, although the subjects are narrow. The problem is that children are not learning the value of using the logic mind, right? This is why many children forget what they learn sometimes. Children at most schools are expected to stay within a mental class function to achieve using the right brain solely. Children fall short since they do not explore the functions of both sides of the brain. When children explore and use both sides of the brain, it enhances the ability to retain information. Mind games or puzzles are a way to encourage the use of both sides of the brain. Online, you can find a surplus of books, websites, products, etc. that can help your child, to learn to use both sides of the brain. You do not have to stress which puzzles work best, since most puzzles do the same thing, encourage the use of both sides of the brain. Now, let's go back to Thomas Edison, okay? He is the engineer of a number of scientific ameliorations. Thomas has demonstrated himself by his mind inventive abilities. The well-defined mind is a real propensity. If a little darling craves to play a mind game or solve a mind puzzle, let him go for it. Okay, let's talk about how to improve memory with brain games. Sometimes many of us are surprised by the ability of others to remember many things. We think of our inability and end up admiring others' talents. Improving memory skills is very easy, though it does require an investment. Do not worry, though, this does not stress on your financial investments by any means. It just requires a little of your time, some practice, and above all, it requires some patience. The easiest exercise is called pre-sleep contemplation. Now, what is this? Well, this exercise requires yourself and support of your memory. When you are lying in bed, that is, before you actually fall asleep, begin slowly recalling the activities you carried out, how you began the day and ended It could also be an area you could explore. You could exclusively try and ponder over the people you met during the day. Try and introspect the reason why you met these people. Another point that has to be kept in mind is to be alert. Being alert helps one to be actively and consciously involved in the landscape and social environment that we are present in. How can one be alert? Well, it requires observation. Observe the surroundings that you are involved in. If you are interacting with a person, look around and relate to the objects that are present when you are in communication with that person. This will help you to associate with the objects around. Recalling objects will lead you to try and recall the conversation and the people that you have been in communication with, right? Another puzzle we humans face is recalling people's names. Now, I know that's a very tough one here. But when we hear a name for the first time, it is obviously unfamiliar to our minds. The name sounds unique to us and rings in our head. Unfamiliar names get registered in some form or word in our minds. One of the easiest ways to remember new names is to try and associate to a thing familiar to us which actually rhymes with the name. Let us take an example of a person by the name Michael. Now, this name rhymes with cycle. When we want to recall the person, we try and associate our thoughts with familiar objects of day-to-day life. I hope that's making a little sense here. At any rate, these small games of recalling what we have done throughout the day, the people we met during the day, and their names is more like an exercise to strengthen memory power. These steps require practice, though. Okay, it's not going to come overnight. The results, if taken seriously, work immediately. They get imprinted in our memories through continuous practice, and that's the key here. Following this on a regular schedule will help solve memory loss and forgetfulness. Being alert will help you to think and work in a logical manner. Remember to be confident about yourself. This will help you to approach your problems in a more simplistic manner. Practice these small steps for a complex free living. Appreciate and celebrate the joy of living life. To improve your memory, you have many options, yet brain games gives you faster results in many instances. To help you gain from brain games and learn how to use the puzzles to improve your memory, we can consider word by association puzzles. Well, this brings us to the end of today's episode, and I hope you got a golden nugget or two from the information presented. As always, feel free to reach out should you have any questions or comments about this episode, and I want to thank you for listening to the Teacher Rockstar podcast. I'm your host, Steve Hiles. When you get a moment, visit my blog and subscribe to my newsletter for the latest educational research, best practices, and unadvertised free bonuses. Go to blog.teacherclassroomresources.com. And don't forget to subscribe to us at the Teacher Rockstar podcast. And if you'd like to support us, please feel free to share our podcast with others. Post about it on social media. Leave a rating and review. That would always be greatly appreciated. Thanks again. We'll see you same time, same place next week. And remember, my friend, you got this.